Hey everybody, it's Brooke with the Buttered Home, getting over a little bit of laryngitis. Y'all will have to excuse me. But we are here in the Messy Kitchen today, and we're really excited to share with you our version of an easy homemade pear tart. Now there are a couple of different ways you can handle this. You can make your own pie crust, and we give you the recipe for that over at thebutteredhome.com, and it's really simple, really easy. Our pie crust are not rocket science. Or you can totally use a store-bought pie crust if you would rather. Either way, just make this pear tart. It's really simple, really easy to use. We have used these apple pears that I found in the produce section. I like these. They're similar to a Bosch pear in the fact that they are pretty dense. The texture of them are dense, and they tend to cook really well without just shedding a whole lot of juice. So the firmer the texture, the better. You could certainly do this with Granny Smith apples as well too. The pears are just a really nice twist because they have a warm taste to them that are really good in the wintertime. So we're going to swap overhead and show y'all how to do this now. And every time I say swap overhead, Danny shakes his head. So I like to use, and this is your pro tip trick of the day, is using a spring form pan. Yes, a cheesecake pan. And what I do, and I've already done it, I should have shown you this, but I was trying to get ahead of myself, is I take the bottom piece out, and then I put my pie crust over the top, and then I drop it in from the top, and then I secure the side. So I like the spring form pan for this because it creates like an edge, and it doesn't adhere to this. This will naturally kind of pull away. You can use a pie tin too for this, that's fine. But this makes serving a lot easier because we will just pop this side off, take it out, and then you can serve it on this bottom piece. That's why I like using that for this. So I just like to put my crust in here, and then I just take my fingers and just make a pretty little edge. And I have to get going. And just kind of make it stand up just a little bit and give you that pretty scalloped little edge. You can also take a fork and just kind of tying it up too to make it nice and pretty. So that's literally all we do. So one of the things to kind of help the fruit along that we're going to put in here is I take about a tablespoon of sugar and a tablespoon of flour and mix those together, and then just sprinkle that over the bottom of the crust. This will help make almost like a fruit pectin gravy, if you will, and it'll kind of keep everything in the crust. So then I just take my spoon, the back of my spoon, and just spread that around. So this is where you get to be creative, and you can make any kind of design you want. So I have peeled my pears and sliced them about 1/4 of an inch thick. And I like to just take them and just fan them out. And you can lay them flat or you can lay them up on their side. Either way makes a really pretty presentation. But for time's sake, I'm just going to lay these guys flat in kind of a sun spin, if you will. And if you have more pears than you have space, that's okay, because they make a really good snack and they're good for you. And you can always slice them and come back and fill in the gaps if you wanted to. So we're just going to fan those out. And it doesn't matter, you can kind of push them down in there and make them a little crowded if you want. Oh wow, here goes the dog. Welcome to Messy Kitchen. Jasper says he wanted to let you know he was here. All right. So I overlap them a little bit, and that's fine. They're still going to cook just fine. And I like to take the smaller ones and just kind of fill in those pieces in the middle or at the top. These will brown really nicely, and it just doesn't matter what they look like. So we're going to take those smaller pieces and fill in these little gaps here. And there we have the beginning of our tart. Now this will go into a preheated 375-degree oven for about 40 minutes. While that's cooking over low heat, we're going to take a small boiler and we are going to take 2 tablespoons of orange marmalade and put that in our boiler, and about 2 tablespoons of good local honey. This we will just melt to combine and make an orange simple syrup. You can add a little water if you want to thin it, but it's really not necessary. The honey and jelly melts pretty good. And you just want it kind of thin. Now we're going to set this to the side, and when we finish our 40-minute cook time on our tart, we will drizzle this over the tart and then return it to the oven for about 15 to 20 more minutes. And then we'll take it out, we'll let it cool and rest, and we'll be back and show you the finished product because you do not want to miss this. We'll be right back. Okay, everybody, we are back. 14-year-old boy voice and all. We finished a 40-minute cook time. Then I took it out and drizzled that over the top. Now, one thing that I did want to mention is that I would wait to melt the orange marmalade and the honey together until right before the cook time is up. Otherwise, it's going to set up on you. I just reheated it, but I didn't want to show you how easy that was, to try to condense the video down just a little bit. So we are now going to show you how to pop this out of the springform pan. So I'm just going to open that up, and it releases really pretty, just like that. And then if you wanted to, you could slip it out and place it on a cutting surface, just like that. Nice, easy cleanup. But you see how we did the sides, and one of the things about doing it in the springform pan is that the sides kind of held together and almost folded over to keep it in like a tart form. So in my mind, if you wanted this to be a pretty serving piece, you could put it on a charcuterie board with some cheeses and things like that. And it's savory and it's sweet because you have the pie crust, and as you know, pie crusts are not really all that sweet. And the pears are not all that sweet either, but we put the orange marmalade on there, and that just kind of turned everything into something different altogether. This would also be really good with some goat cheese on top. And y'all don't look at my cutting skills. I did not do good in geometry in school. But you are left with this beautiful, beautiful pear tart. There are any number of ways that you could add to this or take away or do it different for it to be really, really nice and something different altogether. So this is our easy pear tart, and it's done in less than an hour. My advice would be that if you wanted to use your own homemade pie crust, do that, because homemade is always better. If not, store-bought is good too. But you can make up a pie crust like this and keep it in the refrigerator for up to a week, or you could wrap it up really well and keep it in the freezer for up to a month. And have this on hand whenever you needed it. This is also a really good dessert to have on hand if you have unexpected company, because you can visit for a while. And other forms of fruit work good too. This is just one way to get you thinking about how you can put together a really fancy looking dessert in a really easy way. So as usual, all of this recipe and all of our others can be found at thebutteredhome.com. We are happy to have our producer back with us today. We're glad that the weather was not permitting for him to work on his shop and he had to come inside and help us film today. I know you all have missed his wonderful overhead shots because they are much better than mine. But if you haven't already, make sure that you're subscribed to all of our social channels, because just like last week, you never know what we're going to do. We could do recipe first and then video and vice versa and all those things. Now that we have a grandbaby, a healthy, beautiful baby boy, Wit, our time is cut into more pieces. So you just never know what you're going to get on any social platform. So make sure that you're subscribed to all of them. And as always, all of our videos can be found at YouTube. Make sure that you hit the subscribe button and ding the bell so that you can be notified when we drop new videos like this one. Y'all, we've got some pear tart to eat, and we will see y'all next week. Y'all have a wonderful week from the buttered home to your home. We love y'all. Bye.